LIEnette and Crook's world, no, not planet, is falling apart right now. It's crumbling beneath them. There are new updates in the court, but not only for them, for Stephen the Rat Cunningham as well. And you're probably wondering, why I'm in a bathroom? I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. There is a new executive order put out by the governor of Florida on Stephen the Rat Cunningham, son of Amanda Martin, who is the victim's advocate of Levy County Courthouse, who is personally under investigation. Now, let me answer the first question. You're wondering why I'm in a bathroom. Well, George and I went to the largest storage unit auction we have ever been to in our lives. 123 units. It took 12 hours and 15 minutes to actually go to every location to see every unit. And we bought one. But the unit facility is closed. So we're in a hotel. And the best lighting and the acoustic reverbing sound is right here. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the Rat Cunningham, Amanda Martin's own son. And then we're going to dig into what Crook and LIEnette told Levy County Sheriff. Okay, you can see here, state of Florida. It's right there. This was just updated here recently. Office of the Governor, Executive Order number 24-53, State Attorney Executive Assignment. Now, keep in mind that we have asked, and the Levy County detectives have told us that they are going to place any issues with Crook, LIEnette, the Rat Cunningham, Amanda Martin. It's all going to go outside of our district because there's too many conflict of interest, especially with Amanda Martin being employed by the courthouse. So it goes on to say, whereas the Honorable Brian Kramer. Now, Brian Kramer is the state attorney for the Levy County District. So this is an official legal document. The Honorable Brian S. Kramer, state attorney for the 8th Judicial Circuit of Florida, has advised Governor Ron DeSantis that a complaint has been filed against Stephen Rat Cunningham, we call him the Rat, for battery. You can see it right there. So even the governor is now aware of what Amanda Martin and her son has done. And it goes on. It says, whereas the Honorable Brian S. Kramer has also advised the governor that Stephen the Rat Cunningham is related to an employee in the attorney's office, as we can see here. That would be Amanda Martin. And I think it wise to just stop at this time and really analyze, why couldn't she just keep her own thoughts, keep her own face? Remember when she saw us when there was a bomb scare? To herself. And how about keeping her own son to herself? And now she's in the hot water.
Well, don't forget her comment to your attorney.
Oh yes, how in the world could you represent that bleep and bleep? Huh? Yeah, well, we got that going on as well. Keep her comments to herself. This is not the way a victim's advocate should be addressing others, about others. This is not a person I would want in the court system at all. If people just did the right thing, we'd never even have an issue, would we? But now we do. Whereas the Honorable Brian S. Kramer, to avoid a conflict of interest of any appearance of impropriety, you know, that's a big word. Do you know that one, George? I know you can't read. I can't read.
It's covered.
Okay, I'll try not to cover it. How about now?
Impropriety.
Okay, you know what? I don't know what it says either. I know you've been trying to learn to read, and I'm just not there yet.
I'm still practicing.
I'll keep practicing as well. We're not all as good as Amanda Martin. So, to the appearance of impropriety, and has voluntarily disqualified himself, and has requested the executive assignment of another state attorney regarding the investigation and, this is key, prosecution. Do you understand right here? They are moving to prosecute. the investigation and the prosecution. Now, the investigation is still ongoing. As a matter of fact, I have a phone call with the state attorney that is covering this case in just a number of days. And all related matters regarding Stephen the Rat Cunningham. Now, actually, I think this is an incredible thing that Brian Kramer did. Obviously, there are some issues that we have in Levy County, and I think not only on an Otter Creek level, I think on a county level, there's a tremendous amount of corruption. The good old boy system. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Let's talk about this behind the scenes. We'll do the dirty deal. Nobody needs to know. All right? And for Brian Kramer to actually step down, understanding that Amanda Martin works in his office as a victim's advocate, major conflict of interest, because I'm the victim of battery, of assault. Now, particularly, they are looking to press battery charges. So let's continue to look in regards to, obviously, this conflict of interest would come up within the court setting if this actually stayed within the district. So we also see here, whereas the Honorable William Gladson, the state attorney for the 5th Judicial Circuit of Florida, has agreed to accept the executive assignment in this matter. Now, this is actually the district that the Levy County detectives told us that would most likely go to, and they were 100% correct. Also, Crook and LIEnette's offenses are going to end up going to the same exact district, District 5, most likely with the exact same state attorney if it's District 5, right? So one state attorney, I know there's assistants and helpers, but it's probably going to be William Gladson in District 5 with Crook and LIEnette. We almost 100% are solidified in regards to that. Whereas it is in the best interest of the state of Florida and the ends of the justice that the Honorable William Gladson discharges the duties of the Honorable Brian S. Kramer pursuant to Section 27.14 Florida statutes. So what's happening in this paragraph here, it's a bunch of legalese, but basically what it means is the state attorney William Gladson is discharging state attorney Brian Kramer, and he's saying, you're done, and then we go on into the next section where it's basically going to say, I'm the man now. Therefore, I, Ron DeSantis, you think this is a joke? Ron DeSantis, this went on his desk. It is signed by the governor himself. This whole thing is before the governor. You're going to see his signature in just a second. In obedience to my solemnly constitutional duty to take care of the laws and be faithfully executed and pursuant to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Florida, issued the following executive order effective immediately. Section 1. Okay, this is from Ron DeSantis. Section 1. The Honorable William M. Gladson, State Attorney for the 5th Judicial Circuit of Florida, referred to as the assigned State Attorney, is assigned to discharge the duties of the Honorable Brian Kramer. So William Gladson is saying, Brian Kramer, you're done. And then State Attorney for the 8th Judicial Circuit of Florida regarding the investigation, the prosecution of this case, and all related matters regarding Stephen Red Cunningham. Section 2, the assigned State Attorney, that would be William, or one or more of the assistant State Attorneys and investigators who have been designated by the assigned State Attorney shall proceed immediately to the 8th Judicial Circuit of Florida and are vested with the authority to perform the duties prescribed herein. Section 3. All residents of the 8th Judicial Circuit are requested, and all public officials are directed to cooperate and render whatever assistance is necessary to the assigned state attorney so that justice may be served. Now, do you understand that also means Amanda Martin? Do you truly believe Amanda Martin, who is a resident of the 8th Judicial Circuit, is a public official of the 8th Judicial Circuit, do you think she's actually going to do whatever is necessary to make sure that justice is served? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. She's under an independent investigation as it is right now, as we are told. Section 4, the period of this executive assignment shall be for 1 year to and including March 27th, 2025. The assigned state attorney shall notify the governor on or before February 27th, 2025 if additional time is required. And there it is. The governor, Ron DeSantis, on his desk, personally signed and is now in the public records. You want to know when it was filed? March 27th, 2024. Most people are probably familiar with the area called Ocala or Akala or any other way you pronounce it. It's kind of the horse capital of the world. And it's actually where this is all going to take place, Marion County. So right now what's happened, you've got Levy County, you've got Marion County. Marion County is going, yep, we're going to take all of this because of the conflict of interest, because Amanda Martin is involved. Really, that's the issue, Amanda Martin. And then you got Tom Martin in the Levy County Sheriff Department as well. That's another huge conflict of interest. So to alleviate all of that, and frankly, for us to alleviate the corruption behind all of this that we truly believe is there, and we've already shared quite a bit of it, everything is going from Levy County down over to Marion County. This is a positive thing in our eyes. Now, we don't know of any corruption there, and we don't want to know of any corruption there. We're hoping there is none whatsoever. We're hoping truly, as the governor is involved, that justice is served. There is no doubt whatsoever. I was assaulted. There's no doubt whatsoever. I was battered. There's no doubt under state law, these things happen. But if these things remain in Levy County, nothing's going to happen. Justice is probably only going to be served with it being in Marion County. The detectives that are looking to let's just say it the way it is. They want to see LIEnette and CROOK behind bars just as much as we do. They don't want any more issues. They understand that thus far, number one, Levy County Sheriff they've been involved in corruption. They have had a complete and total aspect of legal liability because they were told not to enforce the civil protection orders. The list is just too much right now to even comprehend that they would even do these things. They've empowered LIEnette and CROOK by not arresting them every time they've violated the civil protection orders. They've actually emboldened them to where they continue doing worse and worse things. And now something's finally being done about it. More information has been released in regards to LIEnette and CROOK's charges coming for violating the civil protection order. This was literally just released today, and the one I'm looking at right now is LIEnette's. We're going to go through LIEnette's and CROOK's, and let me tell you, it's hilarious. For those who may not recall, the last town hall meeting that actually took place, which was 2 town hall meetings ago, 2 months ago, LIEnette and CROOK showed up at 4:45, called Levy County Sheriff and said, "We're here, Jeremy and George aren't." And then they stayed there for almost 3 hours until they entered the building. LIEnette goes in the building as George is there, which she cannot be within 500 feet. Any private public road, any private public building. CROOK and the child stay parked right next to the door, blocking George from going in. And she calls the Levy County deputies. The deputies do not force them to leave or immediately arrest them, as they should. Now, we are told that this is all going to change because no street deputies are coming out anymore. Only Levy County supervisors are coming out, and they are coming out to arrest LIEnette and CROOK immediately upon violation. But they've taken this violation extremely seriously now, from what we can tell and what we are hoping, and they are prosecuting and pressing charges. So this one right here, that is LIEnette Preston. Okay, and let's go through her name. Preston, LIEnette, Michelle, Lacey, Alexis. All right, female, race. Oh boy, I gotta say, this is embarrassing. I gotta say that's embarrassing. Do you see what the race is there? Oh boy. Oh, somebody did not consult with LIEnette before they filled that one out. Okay, let's keep going. Let's see. Physical description. Okay, this is hilarious. Height 5'2", weight 120 pounds. Except LIEnette has told us that she's 85 pounds now.
If you want to believe that.
Yeah, if you can believe any of that. Eyes green, hair black, hair length long, facial hair. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm not going to answer that one. Okay, so we're going to keep going on here. Address, phone number, it's all in here. Arrest location, and that is at, and it does say arrest location, and so they did not arrest, and it is the location of Town Hall. So they did not arrest, but what they're trying to communicate is where the violation actually happened, and that happened at Town Hall. And it goes on in regards to what the charges are going to be. It's going to be a civil misdemeanor. So she'll have misdemeanor on her record, class F misdemeanor. And you can see bond right now is to be set by the judge. Okay. So bond will be set by the judge, and this is LIEnette's. It'll be the same for Crook. And we can go on to, let's see, what do we have here? We've got the deputy, we got the detectives who have actually been working on this for us, which we appreciate. So there's the detective filling out all the paperwork, and we're going to get into it right here. So here's what we have as far as supplemental information, as you can see there. And this is where the narrative of what truly happened is going before the prosecutor. It says, on or about 11/01/2023, the victim George was granted, it was actually before November 1st, but it was in October. We actually had the ex parte, and then we got the 2-year.
Permanent.
So we got the permanent in October, and we got the ex parte in September. But it says that the victim George was granted a civil stalking protection order from Ohio against LIEnette Preston and John Crook. On 2/20/2024, the victim traveled from her residence in Otter Creek to Town Hall. A video recording, video doesn't lie, and this is why we have to record every time we drive by them, what happens when they're near. There's a lot of things that we don't have to record, and we have to record anytime we're anywhere near them in the aspect of accountability and protection. And so on 2/20/2024, the victim traveled from a residence, which the victim is George, in Otter Creek to Town Hall. A video recording from George's car captured the moment when the victim arrived at Town Hall. George was filming as soon as she got there. At her arrival, the video shows the defendant, Preston, and the co-defendant, Crook, in front of Town Hall. Now, they parked specifically right up by the door, blocking George's way there. Okay, not okay. And when I say blocking, they didn't take the vehicle and block the door. They parked right next to it. Obviously, there are issues of fear. They have random firearms that they don't know how to use appropriately or safely. They have threatened our lives on many, many different occasions. And so blocking with fear and literally intimidation, parking there on purpose to intimidate, okay? And so in the video, the victim, George, pulls into the grass in front of Town Hall, approximately 15 to 20 feet from LIEnette and Crook's. And from LIEnette and Crook's vehicle. Wait, let me see. There's parking lot and backs into the parking lot across from Town Hall, parks her vehicle. The video shows the co-defendant, John Crook, look towards the vehicle. This is extremely important. Don't forget this, okay? The video shows Crook looking straight at George, okay? And it's a town of less than 100 people. They know every single one of our vehicles. They have done things specifically to target our vehicles. It ain't that hard. Blue truck, and a black Jeep. It ain't that hard. So let's see what else they have to say. Crook looks towards the vehicle and then appears to say something to George. No, to LIEnette. The video shows the co-defendant, John Crook, looks towards the vehicle, then appears to say something to LIEnette. And at this time, the LIEnette turns and looks at George's car and then turns away. And at this time, the co-defendant, Crook, enters their car and never exits the car the rest of the evening, which makes no difference. He's still there. He was there for over an hour and a half breaking the civil protection order. All right. At this time, George calls the sheriff office to report the violation. And during this time, you can see the defendant, LIEnette, either texting or videoing, which we all know. She was videoing George. As a matter of fact, she was saying all kinds of things. Send this to Silver Scam. Get Beecham on the phone immediately. Remember when she tried to call? She tried to call Under Sheriff Beecham during court in Ohio.
So ridiculous.
Oh,
Wait,
my
can I stop you right there? They forgot to add that John did come out of the car to talk to Don the Con on the ramp.
He did. And you've given them all video footage of that. They all have the video footage from that.
Because it looked like a firearm fell out of his lap, but it was
we found out it was his vape. As we zoomed in, we figured out it was his vape. Which, why in the world would you be vaping with a child anyway, is beyond me. But at the time, George calls the sheriff office, reports the violation. During this time, you can see the defendant, Crook, where it's actually LIEnette. Crook is the co-defendant. The defendant either texting or video from her cell phone the parking area where George is parked. Deputy Duncan arrived at the call at 7 p.m. Now, you realize this is almost an hour and a half already civil violation, okay? This is ridiculous. Crook acknowledged why Duncan was there. In other words, Crook acknowledged exactly why he was there. He knew why he was there because he's breaking the civil protection order, which this becomes, again, extremely important because they are being prosecuted for this. And Crook explained to Duncan that he and LIEnette were at town hall at 4:45 this date and had personal business there. There is no personal business, and there is no exception for personal business. There's no exception for anything. They cannot be on any public-private road, any public-private building. They cannot be within 500 feet of George and I, no matter what.
Their reasoning becomes irrelevant.
There is no if, what, but, nothing. There is no exceptions. There is no reasons. They are not legally allowed to be where we are at, period. All right, Duncan states to Crook, you guys were here before her. At this time, Crook states he filmed the area of town hall at their arrival to show they were first when no one else was there. Again, completely and totally irrelevant. Means nothing
Meeting
at
starts
all.
at 7 p.m.
So what that means is you had a child strapped in a vehicle for hours for no reason whatsoever, knowing that you were going to put that child in the middle of a contentious situation with, you've got cop cars, you got sheriff deputies, and what is a child at that age, at 4, supposed to think about all of this? This is horrific parenting. I mean, it's parenting at its worst. It's insane that they would think this is okay.
It's
literally
them calling Levy County Sheriff to snitch on themselves.
And again, planet's dumbest criminals. Oh, we were here at 4:45. Does not matter. We have personal business. Does not. By the way, the personal business is Russ the Sus told them that they were being voted in on the council, which they could not be voted in. They didn't fill out Form 6. It's all lies. All of it.
So Russell lied for them.
And Russell will be held accountable for lying for them. And so at 8:36 of Duncan's in-car video, okay, here's an extremely important thing to know, okay? Levy County Sheriff, number one, do not have body cams. Levy County Sheriff do not record audio phone calls. Now, there are some out there that would love to lie to you and to tell you that they had an FOIA request for audio of a phone call. It's a lie. The only audio from a phone call is from my video. That's it. Levy County Sheriff does not record those phone calls. Levy County Sheriff does not have body cams. Levy County Sheriff only has a car cam. That's it. That's all. There is no FOIA of any phone calls because they don't exist in recordings. So at minute 8 and 36 seconds of Duncan's in-car video, Preston LIEnette exits Town Hall. At 14:09 of the same video, Preston's brake lights illuminate from her vehicle. At 14:39 of the same video, Preston approaches Duncan's car and eventually then leaves Town Hall area around 16 minutes and 14 seconds of Duncan's video. The defendant was not interviewed for this incident at the request of her lawyer, Silver Scam. So, just so we're all on the same page, the detectives actually contacted Silver Scam and would not give any information whatsoever in regards to what happened that day. Now, Crook, on the other hand, is a Neanderthal fool who doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut and continually incriminates himself and has no legal representation at all. So this is where it gets pretty funny. So now we're going into Crook's charges. Again, 8th Judicial Court, we do believe it will go to Marion County as well. And it goes on to say he is a white male, 59 years of age. He's 6'3", eyes of blue, skin fair. I wouldn't go that far with Crook. Okay. What about bond amount? It's to be set by the judge still. So his bond will be set by the judge, just like LIEnette's will be set by the judge. Okay, now we also have our detective who is pushing and pressing charges, pushing to press charges with the state attorney. And then what we have again is we have the same narrative. If we look here, we have the same narrative, and it is redacted. We have the same narrative, except we have a difference here. Okay, so we have a difference here that on or about March 21st, Lieutenant Mike, how do you say Mike's last name? Norian, interviewed the defendant, John Crook, at the sheriff's office. All right, this situation is so serious, they pulled Crook into the sheriff's office. They read him his rights. So Miranda, Crook advised Lieutenant Norian that he did not see the victim or her car.
It's
or
funny,
the victim in her car at Town Hall. Now, can anybody believe that, knowing that there is video footage? And how dumb can he be telling them, I didn't see her, when he already knows there's video of him looking straight at her. There's video on LIEnette's phone recording her. There's video of them talking, saying things to her, at her, her direction, videoing, saying, talking, looking. The lies from these two. You think LIEnette's diabetes is rubbing off on Crook?
No doubt.